Hello guys, I'm your host B Mitch, and today will be a requested matchup. It will be Plankton from SpongeBob versus Dr Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. And this matchup, I don't think that I would have ever thought of it on my own. I have thought of doing Dr Doofenshmirtz versus Dr Dragon before, and you know Dr Dragon, that blue evil scientist guy from Kim Possible. So that matchup I have thought of doing prior to this, but Dr. Doofenshmirtz versus Plankton, that matchup, I don't think that I would have ever thought of it until somebody requested it. So with that being said, I'm going to get to my notes and talk some more about these two characters and what they can do. Now that I have my notes out, it's time to read them and talk about these two characters and what they can do, starting with what they have in common. Neither can do anything right, as well as they both are mostly comedy characters not meant to be taken seriously, as well as they both are somewhat smart. I say somewhat because even though both of them were able to create devices that us in the real world would not be able to do, they both are also constantly being outsmarted. And that's pretty much all that they have in common that I can remember. Now it's time to talk about their differences, starting with Plankton. Plankton lives in the ocean, as well as he can't even steal a hamburger, as well as he gets outsmarted by a sponge and a crab, as well as he runs a restaurant and has a computer for a wife. And that's pretty much all for Plankton that I can remember. Now it's time to talk about Doofenshmirtz. Doofenshmirtz gets outsmarted by a platypus, as well as he has a daughter and is divorced, and every single invention of his ends with "inator." With all that being said, which one do I think would win between Doofenshmirtz and Plankton? I'm going to read this text from Mafia Joe 619 before I give my thoughts on this fight. He says, "I'm going with Doofenshmirtz only because he is definitely bigger and fights an agent. I'm not too sure if he'd win just because of those reasons. Number one, because the agent always beats him, and number two, because as far as the cartoons they're in, I really haven't seen either cartoon in a while. The only cartoon I've seen recently that's been able to hold my attention is the Avengers cartoon, and that's about it. I really don't watch other cartoons besides that. But as far as this fight goes, I'm going to give my edge to Doofenshmirtz because it does seem like he'd win. But let me know who do you think would win between Doofenshmirtz and Plankton, as well as leave any ideas for a matchup below. This has been B Mitch, and I'll see you next time with another Who Would Win.